Books make you hope. Books make you dream. Books make you laugh. Books make you scream. This is the Books That Make You show, discussing books with authors and experts, unraveling the inner pages of all the books that help make us who we are.
Welcome, everybody. My name is Desiree Duffy, and I am your host of the Books That Make You show. And today we're talking about books that make you see diversity and representation in children's books. And we're going to talk with a fabulous author in just a moment. But first, I want to tell you really quickly about our wonderful supporter, Novelties. And this is just an example of what Novelties does. Yeah, it looks like a book, doesn't it? It looks like Peter Pan. And for those of you that are listening, it sounds like a tin, because it is. It's a tea tin. And inside, there are teas. That's from the company Novelties. You can find them at noveltytin.com. And here's another one. This is like their takeoff of Peter Rabbit. Isn't that adorable? And yes, inside there's tea. So check them out. Novelties, love them, love them, love them. They're great for anybody on your list who likes books or tea or both, because for some reason, if you like books, a lot of times you also like tea. And our guest today, as promised, is somebody, we'll find out if she likes tea in a second. Her name is Isabel Cintra. And yeah, so you know how when kids read, they often automatically see themselves as the protagonist. They learn social norms and expectations from the books from very, very early on. And that is why having representation and diversity in kids' books is so important. Now, Isabel Cintra brings a message of representation and diversity to children around the world. She grew up wondering why. Why is it that the characters in her favorite fairy tales didn't necessarily look like her? And now she's changing that. Her children's books are fantasy-based, delightful tales that feature Black and brown heroes and sheroes, representation and diversity, as well as it talks about the importance of kindness and the importance of hard work. Those are some of the themes that she likes to have in her storytelling. Isabel grew up in a small town of Sao Joaquim de Barra. Did I say that right? Sao Joaquim de Barra, Brazil. And she currently resides in Stockholm, Sweden, with her husband and her daughters. Hi, Isabel. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Desiree. I am really happy by being here. Thank you for having me here today. And yes, we will talk about representativeness and diversity. Yes, I just said the telling is Sao Joaquim da Barra.
Thank you. I was reading it and I was like, I don't know if I know how to pronounce this, so I'm sorry.
Yes, it's so Portuguese. And yes, and then yes, it was my small town. I grew up there in this small city with a brother and a sister.
Mhm.
And dreaming from so small. I was so imaginative child.
Yeah.
We were creating a lot of things in the backyard.
Oh, I bet. So let's talk first about fantasy and creativity and how that factors into your writing. You know, why do you feel that it's so important for children to be creative and for them to dream?
I can take by my example, like a child. It was a small city, like you told, a small house, my family, and I was curious. When I was child, it was really joyful for me to try to imagine what was happening in my backyard, like the ants, what they are doing inside of the hole. How should be there inside? They have family, have babies, ants. Um, that was, and of course, at that time we didn't have so much technology like now.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have smartphones or nothing of these things my children have at home, and that so many children have. And I feel I miss this also when I am playing with my children when they want to be on the smartphones. We have so many things to do in the backyard, to play with our imagination. And of course, this is important. This is, this is developing this creative side of the child.
Yeah.
And we need to dream. The children, they need to dream when we are a child. We need this. And
Yeah.
I wonder nowadays, sometimes I ask myself, the children around the world, and now thinking about the Brazilian children, when they dream
Mhm.
with so many problems, many times at home, at school, have time to dream, to be creative, to have this opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. And it really is. It's all about sparking that imagination from early on. And that's what your book, The Sweetest Ladybug, does oh so
Yeah.
well. There, I'm holding it up. So, talk about the inspiration for this book, because it did come from when you were little and you were thinking about, gee, what is it like to be as small as an ant, right?
Yes, firstly, because of this came really from my childhood. Thinking about being small, being like the insects, what they do, what they are, uh, have they family, have they not, what they
Mhm.
eat. eh? And of course, see a black character like protagonist.
Mhm.
This was the first thing I did miss when I was child in the books. Fairy tale is a sort of book. They did enter in my life from recording discs. My mother was working to a lady. She was like nanny, my mother.
Mhm.
And one day the lady told her, I need to throw away these recordings with so many tales. They had that Three Pigs, the Cinderella, Rapunzel. And my mother said, no, I want to bring home. I will bring to my children. And it was so wonderful be sitting and listening that fairy tales, and was like magic moment for us, for me and my brothers.
Mhm.
And then, of course, and later came the books in my life. When I started to go to the school, then I discovered the books in the
Mhm.
library. And then was is from childhood. This was the desire. And of course, I want to bring fantasy. I want to bring funny things, funny moment with the text, but also value. I think
Yeah.
all my books, we always will find funny things, happiness, the creativeness. I mean, I want everything, but I want to also bring some value, and the value in this case is diversity.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And you bring up something, a good point too, about the relationship between history and fantasy. Because a lot of times the fantasy books and the fairy tales, for example, that we read, they're derived from historical facts. How do you weave the history and the fantasy into your writing?
In the Sweetest Ladybug, then will come from my childhood, my history, my own
Mm,
history, like a
mm,
black child, imagining myself like a small insect or something else. I think I always will bring facts from my life to my books, all of them. If I think about the other fairy tales also, all of them have so much from me and so much from my brother who makes the illustrations for me.
oh, yes, yes.
Uh,
I want to ask you about that too, because the illustrations in the book, I mean, you
yes,
can see the cover there. They're absolutely adorable. Just great, great pictures.
yes. And then sometimes the people they ask, "These histories have something with your life?" I think always will be, always will have something. Not completely, because if I go in all the phrases I have, all the what everything I wrote, of course, is not 100% like my life was or like my life is.
Right.
But yes, but the base will be my memories, my childhood, and everything will be there.
Absolutely. Now, some people might say that your writing, your books, your stories are a little reminiscent of Alice in Wonderland. That idea of being really big and really and getting very small. How do you think? Do you think that your stories can be compared to stories like Alice in Wonderland?
Yeah, I did dream always with Alice in the black skin.
Mhm.
I need to confess. It's a sort of book always did drive me in some way. Oh, this is so wonderful! How she gets small, and she get a lot of friends that rabbit with the big a clock in the neck, and the cup of tea. Né? He have a cup of tea, and he runs around against the time. All this craziness. Wow, was wonderful. But why not a black girl? I think in this case, of course, we cannot compare. It's so different. But I can tell you, yes, it's like my Alice. The Johanna will
Yeah.
be for me like my small Alice in
Yes,
her
yes.
backyard.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's true. When children read and they look at the protagonist, they see themselves as the protagonist. Everybody does that when we read. And so it's so important for all children everywhere to see themselves as that protagonist. And it makes perfect sense to have protagonists and characters of all sorts of different colors and genders and, from different
Everything.
cultures, everything. That's what diversity is all about.
Yes, and not only. I think the black children they will see the representation there, but the friends also, the friend who is not black child, they
Mhm.
will see. Okay, but my friend, he's also can be protagonist. Then we are the same. I mean, everything. Why not? All of us, we can be protagonist of a story, and why not fairy tales? Fairy tales, they are so special. I love fairy tales from when I was child. I have the Brothers Grimms. I have the book at
Mhm.
home. I already did read to my children. And this was disturbing, really. We don't have this representation in the fairy tales. This is
Yeah.
my goal. This is what I want to do, me and my brother. And I think we are happy with the starting and the things. Another thing interesting also, when I was writing this book about the mother of Joanna's mother,
Mhm.
because the father, he's a big scientist. He's a great scientist. And then I was thinking, after I write, I thought, but in the mother, what she will be? She need to work in something. But then this here, I started to think about all my family, all the women in my family, we always worked a lot. My mother, my grandmother, and they did pass this for me like obligation. We need to have obligation to work. We need to work. The black woman, we are strong. We need to work. And I think, well, why not? Maybe she don't need to. She can be taken care of. She can be taking care of for the husband and be happy in her family, taking care of the Joanna and the house and be happy. And when I decided this was like I have a thing from the back, I did take. Yes, she can be just a happy woman at home.
Yeah, yeah.
Really. And then we did create a great family to Joanna. I'm happy by this decision.
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk a little bit about this idea of the princess and that archetype, since we've been, talking about seeing themselves and seeing black characters. Because there's this whole thing in the world of fairy tales and in the world of that one company that starts with a D. I'm not going to invoke their name right now, but
I know.
but because we've seen so many white blonde princesses, right? So
Always.
yeah. Yeah. And talk about how it's important for you to see the princess as being diverse and having different skin colors.
I think is should be natural. We have a black skin princess from royal family.
Mhm.
This is what I'm waiting from that company.
Mhm.
We start
From that
a
company.
real princess. Yes, because the princess we have seen in the movies did frustrate. I was a little bit frustrated because she became a princess because she did marry a prince.
Mhm.
And why not a black skin princess from a royal family? Uh, I did create. We have a book actually, The Princess and the Mirror. This is another fairy tale I have,
Mhm.
and I was so proud to create this with my brother. And we did enjoy a lot to create the parents and the clothes and imagine a place in Africa and give all this stuff around her like a real princess. The crown it had and the clothes and everything. Why not? Why is so difficult? And another thing is, I am very happy because at this moment we have is coming more and more writers with the same idea. I see. I know it's still quite little. Is a field we need to produce more books with diversity by having the black skin characters, but we are in the way, and I'm happy because it's growing this idea, these books. I'm so happy because of this.
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your perspective as a parent. And you're the mom. You have two children. You're married. Why? Talk about parents and what you feel that they can do to help bring diversity into their children's reading.
I think the most we can do is, of course, we are the example, the example. Now we adults,
Hmm.
we parents. I mean, the children they see we reading, they will read too. This is the first thing. And then in my house, me and my husband, we started to make some sort of filter, to have some sort of filter about the books is entering the house.
Hmm.
Because it's not because I'm a black mother, my children will not have problems about diversity. They will. And we live in a Caucasian country, Sweden. I'm black mother, live in Sweden. In the school, I am the only black mother who is going to pick up my children. And it's interesting to see. I have two girls. I need to
Hmm.
tell Christina with 9 years old and Caroline 7. And because we speak so much about diversity, and they see me writing, and they are always seeing the illustrations from the ankle,
Hmm.
is important to them, and I see they already learned that the diversity like value. They already can see diversity like value when they see me. So they seem so happy when I arrive to pick up them in school.
Yeah.
Wow, Mama is here. Like this is she's my mother, and it's great because it's so different. And they already did ask why we don't have black teachers because they don't see. And of course, I can explain. Here in Sweden, we don't have so many, but exist a lot of black teachers. We can go in Africa once. You can see a lot of black people around, but it's always speaking. And I think we need to turning back now about the filter about the books. We need to filter the books who is coming at home. It's
Hmm.
nice, like I told in the beginning. It's nice we have funny, we have colorful illustrations, but bring also some value. And it's important for our children. If we want to see a future where the children don't have so much racism, when they can just have colleagues, have friends, whatever the culture, they don't need to care. This need to start when they are a child.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. And this is what we do. And I am happy. By the way, I think we are going good path.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you are one of the trailblazers taking people down that path. So thank you for doing that. And thank you too for instilling themes of kindness and the value of working hard. You know, a lot of times the books are very simple. It's good versus evil, but you want your books to have other messages too, don't you?
Yes, I learned this from the tales. We have a Cinderella working too hard, but
Mhm,
then she need to be kind also.
mhm.
But these values, they are important. They were very important for me. And hard life we have always in Brazil, you know, is now is a little bit more mess. But always have been complicated. Reading books for me was I started in school. My mother always working a lot, but she always was telling for us, you need to read, you need to study. It's important for you. You will see when you grow up how it will make a difference in your life.
Mhm.
Then I think this I got from the details, this kindness to try to be nice and polite, independent of where you came. I always tell this. I never will forget, and I want to remember. I want to know, have this in my mind, where I came from, and hard work.
Yeah.
And then you can, yeah. I think this combination came from the fairy tales to my life, definitely.
Well, and I can tell too that your mother and family and the people in your life growing up until now and probably even beyond are so inspirational to you and have helped you on your journey. Can you talk a little bit about the illustrator, about your brother, and what it was like working and collaborating with him to bring this story to life?
This really, I try don't cry
Oh, don't
because
cry. I didn't mean to make you
no,
cry. No, no. But
just
look at
because
how beautiful. And working with your
yes,
brother, I bet you that in and of itself is probably something
this
that was very
boy,
magical.
this boy, he did start to draw when he was around 4 or 5 years old, and he was drawing everywhere. He was drawing in my mother recipe books, uh, everywhere, and he's crazy like and so he was doing things like a child. Yes, always smiling. He have a big smile, and we were playing a lot together. We were creating in our backyard things we would like to have when we grow up. We were creating cars, really big cars. He was taking a lot of things, stuff from my father's work, metal, wood. We were creating houses, big houses, and we tell, okay, I will have a room only for me, and you have a room only for you. Things we didn't have at that time. You see the importance of the being creative when we are a child, what using our imagination. And he was really my friend. He wasn't completely. I remember once I would like to be guy. I would like to be boy, just to play more, to have opportunity to play more with him. Because many times when we were playing together, then his friends was arriving and telling, "No, now Jose Carlos is coming.
Mm.
His name is Jose Carlos." And I know I want to go together. And he know, Isabel, you are a girl, you should stay. And oh, if I was boy, I could go together. And then this relation is when we were really small. And then he was the one, he's 2 years old, older than me. And he was the one who was taking care of me, like feeding me, helping my mother, always working out. And then this is really true and real, very nice and pure relationship. We are more than brothers. We are working now. We're working together. This is like a dream. I feel blessed, really.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's such a beautiful story. And yeah, again, his illustrations are absolutely magnificent and they have so much emotion. And there's the little bugs all sitting around having their birthday cake, right?
Yes,
Love it.
he always. I never. He surprises me always because I send a text to him, and then he sent the illustration. Wow, this is great. This is so much more than what than what I was expecting.
Mhm.
Then he's great, and
Yeah, yeah.
yes, I am
I can
blessed.
tell.
We are
I can
blessed.
I can tell. I can tell. So, can you tell people because the sweetest ladybug? First of all, okay, I wanted to ask really quick. So, you changed the name when releasing this book in the United States to Ladybug because in the UK, what are ladybugs called?
Yes, is Lady Bird.
Lady Bird. And I didn't even know that when you first started talking about Lewis, Lady Bird. What's a lady bird? I'm thinking, a bird flying in the air. And then I realized that a ladybug is called a ladybird in the UK. So I learned something new right there.
You see, and yeah, and for me, we could just keep, but then the publisher they thought, no, I think it's good we change because
Ladybug. Yeah. So
he
people
was
understood
yes,
in the United States. Yeah.
exactly. We are learning. We learn every day, of course.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so now you have many, many books that you've already published, and you have, I'm sure, more books coming out. So, what can we look forward to in the future from you, Isabel?
More fairy tales, more fairy tales. We need to have a we so it's like have so much character, so many characters we need to create. We don't have this here, like mermaids, for example.
Mhm.
Now I am give a little bit spoiled. We are create a mermaids. This is the name will be the next.
I love
Is
it.
too much in the beginning, yes, but we really need to. And I think because I like to write, and Jose Carlos, my brother, he's a so amazing illustrator. We need to work together and create these characters. I mean, everywhere, many people they are waiting. It's interesting to tell also. So many of the messages I am receiving, they say this book is amazing, but it's so important we have a black character like protagonist.
Yeah.
This is wonderful. And everyone says this. And this means it is not normal yet. We need to working hard.
And that's what you're working toward is making this more and more common and putting out more books out there with Black protagonists and inclusion
Yes.
and diversity. I applaud you for that, Isabel. Thank you for everything that you do for children everywhere in the world. It's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm still happy, really. Grateful. So much grateful to being here with you, speaking with you. And we go on. Like I told, we have so much ideas.
Oh, I love it. I
And
love it.
yeah, we go on. We are in Amazon, all the
Yes.
books.
So tell people where they can go to find you online, to find the books, find you on social media. Give us all your details.
We have all the books on Amazon. If you write Isabel Cintra, now we are launching the Sweetest Ladybug, but we have more fairy tales with black characters, and all them they are on Amazon. And then we have my website, isabellesintra.com. And there you can see a lot of things we have done all these years. You can see Jose Carlos, the great illustrator, and a lot of things. Always with the books, I speak a little bit about them. You can know the books a little bit in the website and send a message for me also. I will be so, so happy.
Isabel Cintra, author of The Sweetest Ladybug and so many other children's books. Thank you so much for being here today on the Books That Make You show. I appreciate it.
Thank you, the same. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
You bet. And thanks everybody for being with us today on Books That Make You. Once again, I'm your host, Desiree Duffy, and you can find out more about us on our website. It's booksthatmakeyou.com. As well, we are on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and of course on YouTube. Don't forget to ring the bell and subscribe so you always get the latest interviews with authors and literary professionals and people in the bookish world. Until next time, all of my bookish buddies, please enjoy all of the books that make you exactly who you are.
The host and executive producer of the Books That Make You show is Desiree Duffy. Sound mastering and engineering by Dave Napox. Social media and content promotion by Siddhi Jahagirdar. Copywriting and editing by Mike Robinson. The Books That Make You show is an award-winning podcast produced by Black Chateau Enterprises.